Welcome to Jikook Are Dating. Hope you're all doing well, Jikook fans. Today I bring you a video full of happiness, tenderness, and surprises because yes, our Jikook is back. And when I say back, I don't mean they're causing trouble, but they're back to share the Jikook interactions we've all been missing with the public. And here, as I always say, it's all about patience. Waiting calmly because sooner or later they will. Bring back the moments we love. That day, the backstage atmosphere was warm and filled with laughter. All the BTS members were preparing for the special performance that armies around the world had been eagerly awaiting. But behind their smiles and jokes, a sharp-eyed fan camera captured something surprising. A brief moment, but one full of meaning. Jungkook was seen staring at V with an expression that was hard to describe as Taeyoung casually touched Jimin's shoulder while chuckling. At first glance, it seemed normal, just an interaction between close friends. But anyone familiar with the dynamics of BTS knows that the relationship between Jungkook, Taeyoung, and Jimin is always full of complex emotions and intimacy. In the video, ARMY quickly noticed the change in Jungkook's expression. His smile slowly faded. His eyes looked at V and Jimin. Then he took a breath and turned away as if trying to divert his attention. A few seconds later, Taeyoung looked back at Jungkook and smiled as usual, but Jungkook didn't immediately respond. That moment became a hot topic of discussion among fans. Many said that Jungkook couldn't hide his disappointment, and perhaps a little jealousy. ARMY began discussing this on various platforms. "Look at the way Jungkook looks at them," wrote a fan on Twitter. "It's not just a normal look, it's the look of someone who is holding back their feelings." Others said, "Taeyoung might have just been joking, but for Jungkook, it meant more than that." The moment went viral, with thousands of comments discussing the small gesture. Some slow-motion videos were even made to show Jungkook's facial expressions in detail. His gaze seemed to change, from relaxed to tense, from friendly to silent and meaningful. What made this moment even more interesting was Jungkook and Jimin's relationship, which had always been known to be very close. They were often seen teasing each other, laughing together, and even sharing tender moments on stage. However, when Taeyoung, Jungkook's old friend, seemed too familiar with Jimin, the situation changed. There was a kind of unspoken energy between the three of them. Some fans even say that Jungkook is protective of Jimin. He always has his own way of showing his concern, whether it's through his gaze, small actions, or even meaningful silence. On several previous occasions, Jungkook was also seen becoming calmer or even distancing himself when V and Jimin were joking around too intimately. But this time was different. In the latest video, Jungkook's expression was so obvious that it couldn't be hidden. When Jimin laughed because V was teasing him, the camera showed Jungkook just staring at them in silence. No smile, no laughter, just an indescribable look, a mixture of disappointment, jealousy, and maybe a little anger. ARMY, who have been following their dynamics for a long time, know that Jungkook is not the type of person to easily show his feelings. He tends to keep things to himself, preferring to stay silent rather than make a fuss. But at times like this, his emotions are clear. There is something he wants to say, but he chooses to hold back. Many speculate that the three of them are going through a slightly sensitive phase in their relationship. With their closeness spanning over a decade, it's no surprise that there are occasional feelings of offense or petty jealousy. However, for fans, moments like this actually show how human the members of BTS are. Behind their fame, they still have hearts, feelings, and relationships that have grown over time. One ARMY wrote on a forum, "I don't think Jungkook was angry, but disappointed. Because for him, Taeyoung and Jimin are two very important people. Maybe he just felt left out for a moment." Others pointed out that the chemistry between V and Jungkook is also very deep. The two are known to have a strong connection, often referred to as Taekook. So, when Taeyoung appeared too close to Jimin, it's possible that Jungkook felt like he was sharing the attention of someone very important to him. Shortly after the video went viral, some fans found further interactions where Jungkook finally approached Jimin and V, trying to lighten the mood. He smiled. Again, he patted Jimin on the shoulder and even joked around with V as if nothing had happened. But still, his initial expression left a lasting impression. Many people think this moment shows another side of Jungkook, a sincere person, but sometimes fragile when it comes to matters of the heart. He's not just a charismatic idol on stage, but also a human being who can feel jealousy, disappointment, and emotion. And Taeyoung, with his well-known sensitivity, seemed to understand that. In another clip, he was seen patting Jungkook's back gently while chuckling, as if to say, "Hey, I know you're feeling something, but everything's okay." A small smile finally reappeared on Jungkook's face, albeit faintly. From this brief moment, ARMY is reminded once again of how complex and beautiful the relationships between the members of BTS are. They are not just co-workers, but family. There is love, laughter, and a little jealousy, all part of the journey that keeps them feeling real in the eyes of their fans. Jungkook may not have wanted Taeyoung to touch Jimin, not because he was angry, but because his heart was too honest to hide what he was feeling. And as always, ARMY realized that every movement, glance, and small smile had its own story that can never truly be explained in words. Because between Jungkook, Taeyoung, and Jimin, there is always something more than just friendship. A deep, complicated, but loving relationship. And this time, that love was so clear in the disappointed gaze of Jungkook, who didn't want anyone, not even Taeyoung, to touch Jimin for too long. After that incident, the atmosphere backstage slowly returned to normal. But for some ARMYs who were paying close attention, Jungkook's expression still held something. He did smile again, but his eyes that always honestly showed his feelings, still looked different. There was a kind of small emptiness there, as if he was trying to hide something behind his laughter. Taeyoung seemed to notice this. In the moments that followed, he was seen trying to approach Jungkook more often. On one occasion, he patted Jungkook on the shoulder and said something that made Jungkook look down and smile slightly, then look back at him with an expression that was difficult to interpret. Warm, but also holding something back. For fans who have been following BTS for a long time, this kind of dynamic is nothing new. Taeyoung and Jungkook do have a colorful relationship. There is closeness, warmth, and also occasional distance that makes everything feel so real. But this time, Jimin's presence between them added a new,